Real Women, Real Issues with Teresa Malani. And today I've got Jenn Walker, who is an extremely interesting person that I've had amazing pleasure of meeting in very different kinds of ways. And she's actually by training an archaeologist, which really surprised me. And now she kind of does map making, looking at potential impacts in the environment and making sure that creatures aren't affected by any new developments that may be been made. She lives in Minnesota, and she's a mum of one, a young girl that I know you have been wearing her clothes. So I will ask you about that later. But first of all, tell me, what's it like for you being a woman? What's your experience of being a woman?
It's been an interesting experience. I think I can say that I've experienced both the traditional stereotype role that, you're quiet, you're maybe the girly thing, but then I've experienced the other side where I get so frustrated. And my cousins would like to say, well, you're just a girl, so don't worry about it, because they'd push the buttons. But I also see in this time what a great opportunity it is for me to take the reins of what I want to do, and also for a woman to show my daughter that the world is limitless, that she can do whatever she wants. She just has to point her finger and say, that's where I want to go. So I think being as a little bit older than maybe some other ladies out there, I've experienced different things, but it's an amazing journey to be a woman. I think it's fantastic.
Wow. Wow. Well, I think you're a lot younger than a lot of the women I meet, because I know quite a few ladies who are older than the Queen.
Oh, yeah, I am younger than the Queen.
Yeah, a lot younger, maybe like half her age.
What is she, 90?
92.
Not quite half.
Right.
Mhm. I have a big birthday coming up, so yeah,
Nice one.
yes.
You're 25.
Yes, 25, 25 times 2. I love it.
Ah, excellent. Way to go. Way to go. Yeah. So, I mean, being an archaeologist, it doesn't seem like a conventional training for a girl to do.
No, I grew up kind of in a small town. I think I probably was the only one that wanted to be an archaeologist. In my ninth grade class, I can't remember what it was, the teacher wanted to do a unit on archaeology, anthropology. So he divided the class up in half. We each created our own society or culture, went behind the maintenance shed, buried it, and then swapped and excavated the other half of the class's culture and tried to interpret it. And I was hooked right then and there. And of
Wow.
course, Indiana Jones probably came out around then, and that was pretty cool too.
Right. What a fascinating way to get somebody interested in a topic. It just sounds like total fun to me.
It can be. It's a lot of fun. It's sort of a mystery to try to piece together what were the people that were living there, why did they leave things behind. What I found is when I'm out walking in on God's green earth, wherever I've been, it's really helped me realize that people are people. It doesn't matter who you are, what you believe. In the end, you are a person who lives, you love, you have pain, and you die. So that's really what archaeology's taught me, is that we're all the same.
Okay, at least we get to love from what you say.
Yeah. I mean, certain you have different things that you may leave behind in the dirt or that we find, but yes, in the end, we're all the same.
Wow.
So
That's extraordinary, really. Because yes, we do, but is there really any such thing as things like reincarnation?
I don't know. I probably didn't think so before, but there's definitely people you meet and you feel like you've known them forever, and or places you've been, and you just know things. And how do you know those things? So either it's just that common I don't know how to explain it, but there's something to it, I believe. I just can't put my finger on it.
That, that's interesting because I feel like I've known you forever, even though I've never actually met you in real life at all. I
No,
don't think we have. We haven't met in real life.
no.
And we've only actually in the last few months started conversations, and I think probably two,
Yeah,
three at most.
yeah.
That's that's extraordinary.
Well, we've only had three, or we should have three. We should be doing this more often.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
Um, but I think it's the journey that we've both been on. There's something about us coming together, and we've been on it, and you're finding more and more people that have that same resonance or vibration, or however you want to call it, that we get in sync, and then we just start. I don't know. I don't know the words to describe it, but definitely like minds think together, stay together.
I think you have a very valid point there. You know, because um, you know, and it's amazing that over the internet we can create this kind of connection, if you like. Because prior to this year, right, if you had said to me that it's possible to create deep and meaningful relationships with anybody over the internet in the way that that our friendship is growing, I'd have said, what a load of nonsense.
Oh, I totally agree, Teresa. I mean, I didn't know about Zoom software until London Real, and it's made the world a difference to have these video calls and see people and talk to them and just interact.
Yeah, yeah, and on a deep and meaningful way.
Hmm. Very true.
Yeah, and even about real topics.
Yes, I would say we both experienced calls where it's gotten pretty deep and people have been raw and vulnerable and opened up, and I know both of us have learned lessons from these type of calls from others.
For sure, for sure. And we get a sense of each other's environment. Like I know you're coming from your husband's den.
Yes, I'm in the basement. As you can see, he's a fisherman, and he ties his fly. So if you see women have fabric, fly fishing men have stuff, fur, feathers. I don't know what it is.
That's tremendous.
Yeah. It's really good for the movement of your hands to tie the flies. And when my daughter was little, she would pick out colors for things for him to fly to make ties, and then he'd go fishing with them. And so she was part of the process.
Oh wow.
They're bright pink, lime green.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Uh,
Yeah. So I'm curious, what was it that brought you on a path where you're discovering um, Zoom and London Real and so many other things?
I would say well, probably starts about 2 years ago. I just wasn't really happy at work. And somehow I was consuming everything Simon Sinek. And he was on an interview with Brian Rose in
Mm.
London Real. I think we've seen part of that interview as part of our coursework,
Yeah.
but I watched it. And what impressed me was how Brian interviewed Simon, because I've seen multiple interviews with Simon Sinek, but there was something about Brian that stuck. So I stayed and I watched more. And I followed him on Twitter and I followed him on some other, I think, Facebook. And then all of a sudden, he reached out and said, "Hey, we're putting this group together. You want to take a look?" And it was the Business Accelerator, but it wasn't the right fit. And at the same time, I was kind of like, I need to change my life. I need to do something different because I had that big birthday coming up. And then Speak to Inspire came out and it fit, it felt right. And I took the plunge. As he says, pulled the trigger. And gosh, did I fall down the London Real slide, didn't I? but it did. And so it coincided with wanting to be a better speaker, wanting to change my life, wanting to be that example for my daughter, for myself, and find that happiness and give back to others. So it brought me down that, and we did the Business Accelerated, Life Accelerated together. We've been in Tribe together. We've been in Cycles together. We've been in a lot of things, Seeds of Intention together. So it just brought me, and the more I'm on these paths, the more I meet more individuals, that it's a stronger confirmation that this is the right path. This is what's happening. And of course, I've also had a physical transformation. I'm down a little bit of weight, maybe almost significant. So I'm like, let's keep going, girl.
Absolutely. Keep grooving.
Yeah. So
yeah, because you were telling me yesterday you'd lost something like 40 pounds, which, that's a few stone.
I don't know what a stone is.
It's 14 pounds.
Oh, okay. Then yes, a couple stones.
Yeah, it's more than that. That is significant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's what goes to the dress sizes that I've gone down, and where I'm flirting on going into my daughter's closet.
Right.
So,
And your daughter is about this?
she's 14, and she's like, "Mom, stop."
Yeah.
But we do like different things. Her color palette's different than mine, so I like different patterns. So I'm not grabbing a lot of her clothes, just a few.
Just a few. What, the ones that she's grown out of? Because I'm guessing she's still growing upwards.
Yes. So she's now taller than me. So they didn't think she'd get there. So she likes to say, "Well, Mom, you're kind of short, so maybe you can have this." It's only half an inch, but
Well, I think I was about 18 or 19 when I stopped growing. So, I could imagine her growing a little bit more.
no, don't say that, Teresa. No.
It could happen.
Yeah, it would be. I would mind if she got a little taller, because I think tall women, they just stand out, and she's got this thick, dark, curly hair.
Uh-huh.
It's just, yeah,
That's awesome.
it is. I wish I had curls. I have a great picture when she was about 3, with my mom and my brother, and they all had their little ringlets. And I'm like, how do they get the curls? How did they get them?
Well, they did.
I know. So,
Yeah.
and she doesn't like curls now, so it kind of balances out.
Right. Right. Yeah. So she's 14. Wow. But I guess you can remember, the day she was born.
Yes. Her name is Erwin, and that is Welsh for beautiful or white snow. And she
Oh,
was born on
lovely.
an 10-inch snowstorm. The drive to the hospital is 20 minutes. It took my dad over an hour to get me there.
Wow.
There's a lot of snow. Yeah.
Right. Right. So was that planned? As in going to the hospital, or you didn't plan to have a home birth or anything like that?
No, we had it planned. She was 2 weeks late, and so they were bringing me in to prep me for the next day, figuring it was going to be a long delivery. They gave me something pitocin, and within 4 hours, she was born.
Wow. Okay, so a natural delivery?
Natural delivery, yes. I'll tell you, dilated, I think, from 4 to 9 centimeters in 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was like the alien. I could just see my tummy. I'm like, oh, this is, and then baby.
Wow. Yeah. So I guess to have dealt with it that quickly in your mind, I'm guessing you were psychologically prepared for that.
It was, because we had so much time to wait, and I like to call her a baby of science. We had help to get her where I had a lot of other miscarriages.
Mm-hmm.
I think one was really hard. We finally told the family, and then days later I miscarried. So we kept it a secret, and I had my mantra that I would do a little prayer every day and hope for, wish for all these things, and then it came, so I was ready. yeah, so it was very much ready. And then the day came and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I have a little person. Um, and so she actually, because she was in there, they had to lavage her because she kept gagging. And
Right.
then I think all the birth and that, she slept and she was just like a little cute little rosebud. And then I
Oh,
had to go outside and it was minus 25 degrees after the snowstorm and it was bloody cold.
wow.
It was so cold.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, that sound. Yeah, yeah. So, did you breastfeed?
I did until about 17 months. So, but not, just weaning out. I remember the last one, what she was wearing, where I was sitting, and how I feel. And I like to use that last moment as what I define love as. She came up and she gave me a hug and she put her head, her, she just rested her head there and gave me this biggest hug.
Hmm.
And I was like, that's love. And that's what I define love afterwards is just that feeling of complete, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just a magical moment. And just,
Beautiful.
it's, yeah, I mean, I can vividly see it and just smell her hair and everything. I think I saved the outfit because it meant so much to me, or at least part of it. I have her tennis shoes that she wore. She had little Winnie Pooh tennis shoes.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was not sure I could nurse because my mother couldn't, and my aunt had, I believe, I'm sure my mother couldn't. So I was like, well, maybe I can't. And then I was able to. So that was a big surprise.
right. A good surprise.
A good surprise, yes. I learned a lot about it. There were days where I tell moms that I had a psychic SOS. She just was having trouble nursing, and I was crying and frustrating. And that day, my mom called, my mother-in-law called, and my best friend called. And they all said, "It's okay. It'll be fine." Like I don't. So there must be something out there in the universe that three of the women that called to say, "It's okay. You can do this." And if you
Yeah.
have to, let her cry. It's okay. She'll be fine.
Mhm. So, did you get any kind of education on breastfeeding in advance?
My friend sent me a couple books. And it's one of those things where you just do something and you don't realize you're going to do it. And
Hmm.
I just did it. If I could do it, it'd be great. And I did. And so I did. And it's probably, I highly recommend. I mean, not every woman can. So I can't say, and I wasn't like, you must do this. But for me, the bonding experience I had with her was pretty amazing. So I don't know. And maybe that's why we have a pretty good relationship. But yeah, it's not as big in this, it's bigger in the States. I think there was for a while that it just wasn't, it was frowned upon. I remember growing up as a kid and you didn't see a lot of women nursing. But now you see women nursing all over and there's places in the mall and special rooms for mother's rooms. So it's definitely made a comeback.
Well, and that's just in the space of 14 years.
Could be, yeah. Because you'd have to go somewhere, you go in a car, you go in a restroom, you just try to do what you have to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, now they've got like all kind. I mean, they had stuff, but I wasn't willing to purchase all that fancy capes and
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of my friends, they would just like have a nice big shawl and just cover themselves over, and that kind of preserves
Mhm.
dignity and what have you. And indeed, on the colder days, when you need to stay warm.
Yeah, yeah. That was I was pretty lucky to do that. But it's even a challenge when my husband and I went on a trip to visit a friend. He was getting married, and it was the first weekend away and I had to take all the stuff and I'm like, how am I going to do this? I remember putting a towel in the window of the car. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my thing right now, you just keep driving. So I'm in the car hand pumping on this 7-hour car ride because I'm like, I have to do my thing. Just yeah. But I should go back to, I had a friend that was nursing, she's nursing, And to go through like TSA with breast milk, that can be sometimes a tricky thing. You know, they'll swab it down, they're looking at everything, and I'm like, it's breast milk. She's got a baby. You can tell she's nursing. But it's a different experience for women, I think, now with some of that. I mean, I guess I never, I don't know a lot of women that traveled with breast milk when I was little with Erewhon. I mean, I did in a car, but I never flew with breast milk. I don't know if people do that. I mean, I guess it's a different thing today for women to experience.
It is, but I'm still astounded at how little education there is around the whole experience of breastfeeding and what kind of mind state that it's good to be in to actually breastfeed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can definitely. If you're stressed, it's gonna definitely affect your milk,
Mm.
and not being relaxed and in that mood. For me, one of the things that helped is I would read. I would read her stories, which would calm me down,
Right.
and and then also I think that's where the love of the voice and just hearing that. So we would just read
Lovely.
stories.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I have noticed that the more relaxed mum is, the more likely breastfeeding is to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll just happen.
Yeah.
But you have to do things first in order to make it happen, kind of thing. But relaxing is number one.
Oh, definitely, definitely. So reading was, I don't know where I came up with that, but
Mhm.
it just was something to do. And then also practice, I guess, your story voice to your baby.
Well, that's true. But I'm guessing as well would also give her a love of books.
Yes, she did. Yeah, the iPad is kind of come in now, but definitely when she was little, the love of books. She would she would grab a whole bunch of books and she'd go somewhere and she would just read them. We'd travel. We went on a big family trip and I don't know, 30 or 40 books we rented from the library. And we just had that. And she kept reading them over and over and over. Yeah, loved them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I'm just curious with your education background in archaeology, if there was part of what you learned within that was actually useful for you in your early days of being a mom or through pregnancy, like, because I know in other tribes, other cultures, they have much more relaxed and chilled out ways of the whole pregnancy thing, and even fertility rites, you know.
I don't know if there was, but maybe it was the reassurance that we've been doing this for a long, long time. So we've we wouldn't be here if we weren't being able to reproduce and mothers go through childbirth. So just trust the ones that have done it and I guess believe in the process. Um, I can't think of anything about it. There were ideas of other cultures and thoughts, but I'm like, when the time came, I'm like, let's just do this traditionally in Western world. We'll go take an hour to get to the hospital and then see what happens. So
Yeah.
it was, oh my gosh. We talk about stress, but yeah.
Well, you see, one of the things I kind of tease people about is that, prehistoric man didn't actually have hospitals or
No,
cars,
no,
and didn't have, white clinical hospital rooms with massive lights in them.
no.
And yet, generation after generation was getting born. Somewhere along the line, it became like, because I've had referrals for women where it said, the referral from the doctor said, pregnant, please see. I think, well, yes, and but that was just it. That was it. Like, it was a medical problem. And I don't know. From your opinion as an archaeologist, would you say pregnancy is a medical condition?
No, no. But it'll also tell you who the doctors are. They're male.
Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So it's not, but you're right. When you were talking about that, I mean, even if you go 100 years ago, 200 years ago, out in the homesteads, they're just the midwives. They just
True.
knew what to do. And maybe that profession is carried through, and the knowledge to be able to help the women to do the process and to understand it all. Yeah. And then I think we got into germs. I think there was a disease where they were finding that, where was it? I can't remember what it was, but like the doctors were doing something in the morning, seeing sick patients, and in the afternoon they were seeing the mothers and helping them, and the mothers were getting sick because they weren't washing the hands. So it's like a process of how they learned about germs and other things. I can't remember where that was. I'll have to Google it.
Yes. No, but it totally makes an awful lot of sense to me, because one of the biggest places anybody can get a serious infection is actually in hospital.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny?
It kind of is an
It is and isn't, yes.
yeah, yeah, and even with knowing more information, it's still quite extraordinary how still even today people are getting infections in hospitals, because with the way their hospitals are run now, certainly in the UK or even in Ireland, with the way they're run now, and there is so much pressure to get people into beds and out of beds as quickly as possible and have a massive turnover and so on, that actually the cleaning isn't been done properly.
Oh.
Yeah, no, seriously. I wish I wasn't telling you the truth, but I'm afraid I am. And and I noticed that, there'll be lots of the professionals that'll be very OCD and rigid in the correct manner about washing the hands and all the rest of it. But then the minister of religion will come along and go from bed to bed, and nobody will challenge that person because they're the chaplain or the minister of religion, and say, no, excuse me, these hygiene practices also are for you. And I've even noticed that some relatives can take umbrage to the fact that they're actually been asked to clean their hands when they walk into the hospital, and it's like, no, there's a reason for that.
Yes, definitely. Huh. Well, no, yeah, they shouldn't. They should wash their. I mean, the practices today, it's very important, especially if you're in a hospital, you have a weak immune system, you need to protect it as much as you can.
Absolutely. And you're exposed to an environment your body isn't actually used to.
Hmm.
So, and it's like with any of us, you go to a new place or a strange place, your body has to deal with all those new things.
Yes. Oh, very true. Very true. Yeah. I'm, and of course, we always hear horror stories, which is what we focus on. We don't focus on the good stuff or.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, no, it's very true. We never think of the kind, caring, compassionate person that might have actually delivered the baby or been the relative of somebody else in the next bed or whatever.
We just think of super bugs and super germs and
Absolutely.
um but no, just to go back to when my daughter was born, because of the snowstorm, the nurse was stuck there. I don't know how far her travels were, but if it took us, a long time. So she came and checked on us the next day. She was amazing. She was a wonderful woman, and she was the one that said, okay, I gotta take this baby and lavage it because it needs to be stop gagging. And just amazing. My mom made fudge for everybody because
Oh, that's lovely.
so yeah, she came in the next day and all the nurses had boxes of fudge that my mom had made because they were all stuck at the hospital. So
Right, right. So
yeah,
why not make the most of it?
yeah. So but that woman I can't remember her name, but I see her face and I remember everything she did.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It
Ah,
was yeah.
yeah. Well, I hope you remember her name.
I probably have it written down somewhere. I have a
Oh,
box of stuff that I was going to which I haven't, do my daughter's baby book. So I have all this stuff. So maybe when she's 18.
Right. Oh, you're going to give it to her.
Well, no, not the box of stuff, but actually making a scrapbook of something with all the pieces in there that represent her life. And that's the hard part too. If you think about it, digital cameras came in right about when she was born. And before, everything was film. So I have a box of photographs that are from various parts of my life and pictures of me as young, but now it's all digital. There are very few printed pictures that I have of us because everything's digital. You're like, oh, I can just look it on my phone or my computer, but printed is the hard part.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, if you ask, I mean, a lot of moms do every month and they take that photograph, but do they have a little binder? That's what I think I have a couple of those for her. They're the cheap little plastic ones, but there's a photograph of every month so she can see herself growing. But that's about as far, in 1 or 2 or 3, I had those so she could understand herself. But it's amazing to look back and see how fast they grow.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, given your wealth of knowledge and experience now, do you think, the very fact that, you're very educated, right, and you've done the archaeology thing, do you think you're going to be able to, when it comes to her time to have little people, be able to pass on something to her that will enable her to have quality experiences, with pregnancy, with having a little person and so on?
I hope so. I really do. I mean, we joke that when she goes to college and move, we're going to sell the house, get a caravan, and live in her driveway. She's told us that's a little close, but we could be down the street from her. But I said, well, we'll be babysitters. We'll be right there. So you want us close, right? But I think so. One of the things I was very fortunate is my folks were about 3 hours away. And they were able, when she was little, to spend time with them. So maybe over Christmas break, it was also to finance, but she'd spend a week with them. So she would go, they'd put a little bed and they'd make a little fort for her there in their bedroom, and she would be there and hang out with them for a week. So she was really bonded with my folks, but it was an adventure to see, I guess her experiences is being with other parts of the family. And so she knows how important it is to have those relationships. Maybe she doesn't understand it, but she will when she has a mom and a little person.
No,
And
for sure.
yeah.
So, your folks are close, but not too close.
They've moved since, but yeah, they were a couple hours away. So they did a lot. They were obviously here when she was born. Then we spent 2 weeks at their house because she's a December baby. So over Christmas, we spent that time with them. And then just coming back and forth a lot to see them. And my mom was here quite a bit, especially in the winter when she had her appointments, because it'd be so cold. I'd just drop my mom and her off at the door of the doctor's office and then go park and then run in, because I didn't want to carry her, whatever, how far that was when it was so cold.
Wow.
So my mom was a blessing, yeah, to be here. And then there were times when the nursing part wasn't going on, and so we had the pump on, and Mom and I are trying to figure out the horns, and my dad's just like, doo, 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 doo. But we did. We figured out, because at the time where my husband was working, I could get a breast pump for free, so it was great, so that I could get that. Yeah, it looked like a toolbox. It wasn't those ones you see now. It looked like a blue toolbox.
Yeah, because they have changed quite a lot over the years.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be carrying, like, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's my pump. I'm like, it looks like a toolbox, but yeah, and being confident to carry that and just wherever you go.
True.
Yeah,
Very, very true.
yeah, it wasn't battery operated where most things are now, but it was actually had to be plugged in. So it was, oh my gosh, that thing, Teresa. But
Right.
yeah, I can help her with that. If my mom was willing to help me, I will help her with that.
Yeah, but I think actually in lots of ways it's about the stories that we actually tell people. because the, a bit like the is it, Pavlov dogs.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we can anchor any situation really by creating experiences around that. And it's like if we anchor quality experiences in any given story, then it's not going to be so bad for the other person.
Oh, I agree. I mean, there's always going to be hard times or difficulties, but I tend to lean more to the levity and the humor in everything because I think that's you're right. Stories are what we tell through the generations, and it's if you have that humor, it carries you further because you'll be like, oh yeah, it can be bad, but look on the other side, you're going to laugh about it. So it's okay if you're she nurses like 13, 17 times in one day. She's having a growth spurt, and you're like, please stop.
But that laughter is quite important, really, because Richard Bandler, who's one of my teachers, the co-creator of NLP, what he says is very much, because we all have that tendency to say, well, there'll be one day when you laugh about this. He said, well, why can't you just laugh about it now? Why wait?
It's a great point. Yeah, laugh now. Why wait? I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've certainly got women in the throes of childbirth, got them laughing, and it just made the whole thing a lot easier.
I believe that. I totally believe that. Yeah. I'm just thinking back to my daughters. Yeah, it's a yeah. I laugh about it. You have to.
Well, why not? Because some of the things that can happen, like anywhere in life, right, can be quite hilarious.
Yes, definitely. And it also it's a that rite of passage, that bonding experience that you have. I remember afterwards saying, I read those books and nobody told me about X, Y, and Z. And they're like, I know, right? Is that a secret ritual you have to go through? I was like, but so I used to tell moms when I was, when Erwin was little, I'm like, oh, watch out for X, Y, and Z because they don't tell you about that in the books.
Yeah, and I don't know what the reluctance is to tell people about. I mean, or there'll be a focus on telling about bad stuff, but no focus on telling about good stuff.
Yeah.
I said to one woman who is older than the Queen, right, and she's had 9 children. And I said, and so I was asking her about what has she told her daughters and so on, right? I said to her, if any of the birds were better than the best multiple orgasm you ever had, would you tell anyone else about it? Oh, no way! There was no way she was going to tell anybody about that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, that's actually quite sad.
Yeah. Well, but also she's 9 older than the Queen, so I think how she grew up is different than how we grew up, which is how different than my daughter will grow up and how they share information.
Right.
So I think that's part of the difference. Um, but for her, I'm pretty honest, and I probably shouldn't say this live, but there'll be times I'm like, you came out of me. And I'll say the body parts. And she's like, Mom. I'm like, and then she'll say, well, you came out of Nana's. I'm like, yes, I did. So, I mean, the whole concept and the just, so she understands. I mean, she knows because I tease her about it. I'm like, look what you did the other day. I'm like, look at my stretch marks. You just sat in there for 2 weeks baking. Look what you did to me. So, yeah, it's fun to point that out and just let her know that okay, 2 weeks you grow a lot, your belly gets quite large.
I know, but those 2 weeks is always very interesting, really, because somebody somewhere decided that 40 weeks is how long a pregnancy should last, and and how they calculate it is very interesting as well. So who knows? Maybe she needed to be in there for a little bit longer. Maybe there was something important that was going on between the two of you.
Could
Who
be. I,
knows?
I think, because she cooked an extra 2 weeks, she was a bigger baby, almost 9 pounds.
Hmm.
Um, but
And
she
in
was stronger.
wintertime, that was good, right?
Yeah. Because when you saw other babies that were littler, that was all you had to watch them, and she didn't get sick very much. So I think she was a healthier baby. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's interesting. I had somebody in my office the other day, and she's got another month to go, and she has just been going crazy, crazy, crazy for the last 10 months with because her company has been taken over by another company. She's head of HR and blah de blah de blah de blah. And she said, I think this baby is going to go over time. And I said, good.
Yeah.
And she's looking at me, what, good? I said, it's going to give you a lot of time to prepare your mind to quieten and slow down and relax and really hook your mind in with your body so that you can have a natural delivery. And she hadn't even thought about that. She had been so busy, she hasn't even thought about the delivery at this point. I'm like, okay, now would be a good time to think about that, would it not? What
Yeah.
kind of delivery would you want, and so on. So I think for her it's going to be great if she goes a little bit over. So
Hmm.
she'll have had a lot more time practicing slowing down and being kind to herself and really imagining what it is she wants.
No, I think that's important. And I think for us, people have the birth plans, but it's a guide to go by. Um,
It so is. It's always one of one of my ladies delivered from on the train from London Bridge to Lewisham at 17:17 on a weekday. So the train was absolutely packed. Yeah, but she was very, very blessed because the men were very gentlemanly and formed a circle and looked outwards and let the women look after her. And there was an ambulance waiting for her by the time she arrived in Lewisham. She was just taken straight into hospital, But the baby had already arrived. So my point is, you never know when that little person is going to arrive. And we're not in the habit of talking to the little people and say, when would you like me to arrive? We don't have that conversation with the baby.
no, and they wouldn't listen anyway because they
Are you
are.
sure?
I don't know. She didn't. Yeah, I was like, come on, baby. Like the last week, because I was getting so uncomfortable. I
Yeah.
tried everything up and down the stairs. We went on walks. My mom would be rubbing my back, and I would just be like, come on, baby, come on. And then that's when they said, we have to induce you because she's not moving.
Right. Were you actually specific with her and say, listen, I want you to arrive on Sunday afternoon when daddy is at home or anything like that?
No, because I really think she was listening to her name. Because if she's
Okay.
beautiful white snow, she waited for the snowstorm. And I have to be honest, on the other end, it was a 10-inch snowstorm when we had to go to the doctor's office. So we're driving through the metro area where they haven't plowed, trying to get there. We get to the clinic, and there's all these couples holding their special packages under their skin, not looking at each other because they all have an appointment, and the nurse isn't there yet because of the snow. So on both ends, it was a 10-inch snowstorm.
Wow.
So to me, she was waiting for the snow.
Wow.
So she knew. But yeah, I remember sitting there. You're like, y'all have what you got in that little plastic cup. You're all just you're waiting for the doctor appointment. You're just couples not looking at each other, just like do 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 do.
But there's something quite magical that your daughter was waiting to arrive in the store, and this is the translation of her name. There is something so magical in this.
Mm-hmm. And then when she was little, she liked cold baths because she didn't like warm. She liked cold. So we're like, This is a winner kid. She just
Right.
like, yeah.
Fantastic. She'd get on well with Wim Hof.
I don't, now she might not. She likes him more, but when she was little, oh yeah, loved it. Just, she'd be out in the lake and she'd be turning blue and she'd be like, nope, having fun.
Oh, fantastic.
I know. Crazy kid. She's
I,
amazing.
it certainly sounds like that, and it sounds like you guys have had tremendous holidays over the years and what have you.
Well, definitely growing up, that was the time my dad worked a lot. My mom did too. So to unplug, camping trips were big.
Hmm.
That was an easy thing. My folks also had a boat, so on the weekends we go on the river because we grew up on the Mississippi River. So just doing that was, that's my childhood. Playing games and being with your family is vacation.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So that's we've had a couple big vacations with for my 40th we had a houseboat that my whole family, my brother and his girlfriend at the time, the dogs, Erwin and my folks, we rented a houseboat for a week and went up northern Minnesota and just camped out, and it was awesome. Playing cards, swimming, fighting bugs. That's when my dad believed that Listerine would get rid of bugs. No,
Right.
like, yeah, I was the alcohol content to the idea of the alcohol. I'll probably be upset I said that, but there were a lot of mosquitoes with dogs coming in and out of the boat, bringing sand in.
Tremendous.
So, but that, and it rained, and we'd sit, there was actually a hot tub on top of the houseboat, and we'd sit up there and read books in the rain. I'm like, it was magical.
Yes, that just does sound magical.
Yeah.
Because
I know some people like to go to a fancy hotel and do amusement park, which is fun, and those are great, but they're in between doing other things, just hanging out, playing games.
yeah, because I guess that's when you have real deep connection with other people when you're
Hmm.
laughing, like you say, having fun.
We are. And then when she, on that trip is the genesis of what I call the magic book box. And the magic book box every morning would appear with some sort of craft. And there's a great picture of, it was Egyptian day. We were building a pyramid out of toothpicks and marshmallows. And there was a black crayon, and there's a picture of my husband with eyeballs and pyramids, all because he's bald, all over his head. And she has marks all. So when we would go camping, the magic book box would appear, and either a new game or a new book would just show up every morning. And so there'd be a new book to read, a new game to play. And so we would play that game while we're camping or on a trip.
Oh, that's tremendous.
It's so, I would still do it. Now she knows it's me, but for a long time she didn't. So it was last year, we had a new game, and we'd play it for a couple of days and then a new game would appear, and it's just so much fun.
Oh, that's tremendous because it just sounds like so good for their little imaginations.
Hmm. Yeah, the biggest one, the best thing I ever got was, it was magnets. So when you're camping on a metal bowl, so it's all these little characters so that you could spin the bowl and like change the scene so that she could play and then watch them go around and around. And so when you're camping, you didn't mind if they lost the little character magnets, but she would tell stories with them. So much fun. Or metal plates. And so you're just like,
Oh, that's brilliant because children learn when they're having fun.
mhm. Oh yeah, we've played games where we had cards that were the presidents. So we would be reading history facts of the president while we were playing different games. There's one that we played with her. It's a color rummy. She would, before we even had the second hand, she'd win. Teresa, she's so good because she could see the patterns. So we stopped playing that game because she always won. I'm not playing that one if you're always gonna win.
Oh no, you have to let them win
Well, sometimes, yeah.
sometimes. Okay,
Yeah. They gotta
okay,
work for it. If they're just kinda, I'm gonna win, no, you gotta work for it.
okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's definitely, we've always had games on our trips, card games. And then for a while, she was really into cribbage. So, and she was
right.
really good at cribbage.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So for the new moms out there, read to them when they're little and then play games with them, because they just, whatever it is, they get that experience, that energy, that time with you that just starts that bond.
Yeah, and this kind of stuff, it's the stuff that they look back on and makes their childhood.
Hmm. Definitely, because of all the trips we've done, my daughter's like, I'm always up for a road trip, because she's ready to explore and just do things, because that's what we did. So
Right.
we've instilled that explore in her, that ability to, or that want to see the world and see other things.
That's brilliant. So, in terms of like learning about different countries in school and what have you, is she good at that?
I think she's pretty good. She hasn't, she's been to Canada, so that's about as far, that's, we had a passport. We had to go through customs, and they pulled us in a room and asked us a lot of questions. So didn't care about the dog. Cared. I think we just happened to. My husband made a comment about, like, said, "Do you have $10,000 cash?" And I think he said, "Well, I wish we had $10,000 cash." Sir, do you mind pulling up and coming in? Well, you don't joke with the custom agents, I guess, but it was all
Yeah.
good. But so that was fun for her to experience going through customs. Next year she's going to have the opportunity to go on an international trip with her school, so that's going to be a big one, and see the world. So I think she's going to enjoy it. She has a love of history.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So one day I'm going to take her to Wales, and I'm going to take her to London and just see all these things that she wants to see. So we'll get there.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to go to Wales because I've never been. And
Right.
since she's named, a Welsh name, and then maybe we can find her a keychain with her name on it. I don't know.
Oh, you probably will in Wales, no problem.
Well, I had coworkers go, and every store they bring out the piece of paper with her name spelled. They're like, nope, because they were the top 100 names, and they used the UK, so it's not Welsh top 100 Welsh names, UK names.
Right.
So darn those Englishers, whatever. No, I'm there too, so I can't say anything. But yeah.
Yeah, well, one of the unfortunate things that happens with people's names is that there's a tendency to make them into the local country. So things get changed. Like in my native language, we have things like fodders. So like accents over, like Germans would call it things like umlauts.
Hmm.
French, I think, call it fenêtre. So and these little accents are quite important, really. But in the English language, they don't exist, and so what tends to happen is that these words get changed. So it could well be that your daughter's name does exist somewhere in Wales on a key ring that is just right for her, but nobody's actually necessarily seen it because their brain isn't trained to see it.
Oh, maybe. So I
Mm.
guess I need to go to look for it, because that's the one thing you go to those touristy places, and I'm like, honey, don't look for your name. You're not going to find it. Just we'll
Yeah.
stop right now.
So, and just in case there's anybody listening in that might be able to send you one. So, how is her name spelled?
It's Eirwyn, Erwin. Which, when she was little, there was a lot of the Lord of the Rings movies coming out, so they all thought it was Eowyn, and I'm like, no, that's Ewye. Oh, I can't even spell that. Yes, but
Right,
she went to a school with a girl who was 2 years younger that was named Eowyn and then Erwin, and they both had thick brown curly hair. So their names, they kept getting them confused.
right. Yeah. So I guess there's some Celtic heritage in your daughter, and that this is where the curly hair comes from.
It must be my mom's side, yeah. Something. Uh, I don't know her genealogy as well as I do my dad's. Um, he has got it from all the way to the 1600s in the States, and then popping over in the UK with William the Conqueror, and then back to France. So
Oh, that's a very rich understanding of your history.
yeah, so for that, Dad's got it back to about a 900 AD on that side. So now we just got to start working on Mom's side, figure out what's going on.
Oh, that's so. Was it you that did the family tree for your dad, or was it your dad that did that?
My dad did. Uh, it's one of those things where they thought they were Irish, and then he started to do the history, and they are not Irish, not at
No,
all.
no, Walter does not sound like an Irish name. No.
Well, my maiden name is Spencer, so
Oh, okay.
but a lot of Patricks on my other side, and they found out, nope, not at all. And then Dad just kept doing the genealogy, and the Spencers have been here since the 1600s. And the Spencers were the Dula Spencers of Good that came over with William, and that were at the Tower of London, and so then they became the Spencers, and so all that. It's interesting, just the name change and how there are Spencers everywhere.
Well, there are. Yeah. I was just trying to think where have I heard this name before, but it doesn't sound Irish to me at all.
No, it's not. And then Lady Diana was, I can't remember how far. I mean, we're like 17, 18, 19, 20 distant cousins, but way in there.
Wow.
So we like to say when William got married and Harry that her cousins were getting married. Wasn't invited to the wedding, but her cousins got married.
Oh, that's extraordinary, really.
Yeah. There's a picture of us from William's wedding, and I think we're all dolled up, and someone sent us loaned us a copy of the OK magazine or something with the wedding, and we're looking at it, and there's a picture of it. She has a calendar of Lady Di on the wall. So I was like, yep, she definitely has that side of her, the Anglophile part.
Right. Okay, so you really are distant cousins of Prince William and Prince Harry.
So says Dad. I haven't seen that part. I mean, we're talking
Way back.
way back. When you're
Hmm.
like 19, 20 cousins, you could be we could be related. Who knows?
That is true. You just never know.
You just kind of it's there. So I think it's so far back. But I would love to get my mom's side to figure out where that is. So we just haven't been able to go too far back with her genealogy. Someday we'll get there.
Absolutely, but interestingly enough, if we all go back far enough, we're all related to each other.
We are. We are. And that's I think that's the neat thing about genealogy, and maybe that's partly the love of archaeology. It's the history, the mystery, and it goes back to what I said earlier. We really are all kind of related. We're all the same. You keep going back far enough, it's all the same. We may be wearing something different, a kilt versus a beret, but we're still just people.
We fundamentally are. We may have different ways of expressing certain things, but we fundamentally are the same.
Yeah. We want to be different, and that's the kilt versus the beret, but it's in the end, you have shelter, you eat food, you drink, you be merry, you cry, all that stuff. At least that's how I like to look at the world.
Yeah. I think you're right, though.
Yeah. If more people thought that, then maybe we'd have a little less issues with other things in the world. But it goes back to your idea that maybe we need more women in charge.
Well, in certain countries, women are in charge.
But I think there's other countries that there needs to maybe be, and women not to be afraid to have their voice. I think sometimes they're afraid not to let their voice, and I'm guilty of that as well. Sometimes I don't think my voice is any different, but if we all thought that, then nothing would change. So we all have to be out there and say something, sing something.
This is very, very true, and it reminds me. I'm guessing in the world of archaeology, and even in the world you work in now, I'm guessing it's male predominant in terms of numbers of people working in it.
Um, I think maybe in other industries, definitely the group I am with the GIS, it's led by a woman. There
Oh
are
wow!
yeah, so she's the one, she's the head of the business class, and there is another it's about on her management team, there's probably about 50-50. But definitely I think there is more women coming into it because they see the I don't know if, what exactly is drawing the younger girls into it, but definitely there are women in it. But yes, I would say 10-15 years ago, mostly men. It's definitely made a switch
Right.
because I think women know they can do anything they want.
Absolutely. So it's interesting you said that there's a 50-50-ish um, ratio going on in her team there. What do you think enabled her to achieve that?
Um, I think it's just actually the population. If you're pulling from a group of a community that is represented almost by 50% male, 50% female that are doing something, it becomes easy to create that group around you that represents that. So it probably is actually fairly unique compared to other groups within the company that maybe are more male dominated. So I'm not sure. That's actually a good question and to look at it. And maybe it's just organic. That if it's oh, I don't know, Teresa. That's a really good question. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
it's if you look at it and poke at it, then it doesn't become what it was. But if I can just sit and observe and see, I'll have to get back to you on what that is.
It'd be certainly interesting because, there's lots of companies where they have the possibility of going with a 50-50-ish split, and you'll still find that there's a predominance of one over the other.
Mhm. But if
So
it's
it's,
close, then it's not like 2 versus 8.
yeah. Yeah, so it could be you're like 48-52. So, we're talking 50-50-ish.
Ish.
Yeah, yeah. And that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But sometimes I wonder if the person at the top, where there's a 50-50-ish scenario, if the person at the top is somehow creating that.
I don't know if they are. I'm trying to think of other businesses. And there's some places where they definitely do try to do that. But if it just happens, maybe that's the kind of organization because it's organically happening
Hmm.
that's going to be a stronger type of organization or group because that community is just doing it on its own.
Hmm.
They're not trying to design it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking of other companies and how it's set up. That's really if when I get to meet Simon Sinek, I'll have to ask him that question.
Hmm. No, absolutely. Why
I
not?
mean, one day I'm going to meet that man, and I'm not going to buy him coffee because I know you're not supposed to buy him coffee, but um, dinner. I'll buy dinner, and we will talk. And I just have so many questions for him. He was an ethnographer when he started out his uh, career, so he was into anthropology as well.
Interesting.
Yep. So, and he has a birthday coming up in October, but that's I'm not a stalker. I just happen to know that.
Okay, well, you can always send him a card, couldn't you?
I did last year.
Did you? Did he
Yeah.
respond?
He did. Well, not. I got a letter back from one of his being. Thank you for being an Aspire, and it was right after I did my speech in London. So it was kind of cool that I was saying thanks, Simon, and then that showed up in the mail. So.
Oh, lovely.
Hmm.
Lovely. Yeah. 'Cause So you're in quite a privileged position then, in that you're in a team where there's a 50-50-ish split. What's that like?
Um, I, I I think there's a lot more collaboration. I think there's a lot of support for everybody. I think people work together. The goal is to make GIS, geospatial technologies, a mainstay and to keep providing our clients and our internal customers better products. And so by working together, there's a synergy there. I don't know how to describe it. Um, Maybe not the fear to speak your mind, not that there was before, but I just think the ability is, it's more collaboration, I think. And it's to see a need, fill a need. So if you see a need, go for it, fill it. If you see something that needs to be done, let's talk about it and let's see how we can make it better. And I guess maybe that's how we as women have always been. We are taking care of the home, the children, we're doing a career, we see a need, we fill it because we just need to get it done. So maybe that's internally who we are. We're always, or maybe it's me. I see a need, I fill a need. So that's just how I operate.
That's extraordinary. So, because like so many places, right, where I'm talking to people and they talk about things like especially women being competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Men are credited with being competitive, but actually they will cooperate when something needs to be done. Women are, in a lot of places where I've worked and seen and heard about, they're very competitive, but with each other. So it's so interesting to hear that you're in an organization where people are actually more collaborative.
And so perhaps because I'm in that, I don't see it as something that doesn't exist elsewhere because I've been there for 12 years. So it's maybe that's just you reflect what you know. So this is what I know and this is how it is.
Oh, that's brilliant. So have people in the company worked there a long time, or is it, like a pretty steady workforce?
I think I'll hit 12 years coming up next month. My gentleman sits next to me, he's been there 20 years. The guy behind me has been there 10. I think my boss she's 16, 17. So people have been there a long time. There's one gentleman, I think his whole career has been there.
That's amazing. So you've really had a chance to get to know each other over that length of time, I'm guessing, and growing together.
Growing together, yeah. And the thing is, because it's a national company, the woman I talk about, she's in California. So, and so you just work with other people. And again, maybe that's what laid the foundation for what we're doing this last year. I'm so used to talking to people on the phone or through Skype, which is not quite as nice as Zoom, to build those relationships and pull out the connection. Because that's what I think is the most important part, is if you can connect with someone and say, you know what, I can go to Teresa because she's always going to be able to help me with how to kiss a baby. She will tell me the best way. And so when I know that, I can then point you, and because there's nothing, I want a person to have the best ability to kiss a baby. So they need to talk to you. And so that's maybe what I've learned in having these relationships, and you just point people to the right person. So maybe that's what I need to do, is go to other companies and teach them how to do that. Point them to the right person. It's not a competition.
No, it doesn't have to be, does it? Because we can collaborate and have more fun in the process.
Fun is important. People have forgotten how to laugh.
They have, haven't they? Is it in your job description?
To laugh?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I do. it was funny. We had to write our little ditty about our descriptions, and everyone was writing, the technology they do. And I wrote, I'm like, I'm a mom, I'm a quilter, I'm a camper, I like this. And everyone's like, that's a unique description. I'm like, well, that's who I am. You all
Right.
know what I do, but you don't know who I am. So
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, everyone started saying, well, this is who I am, not what I do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And the picture that I have, my fun picture is I am Luna Loveglue, and Erwin is Hermione Granger from Harry Potter, from when we went trick-or-treating. That's my fun
Brilliant.
picture.
Brilliant. That's
I don't
awesome.
look good as a blonde, I'll tell you that now. No.
Yeah, no, because I mean, I think another thing that would be really fascinating if everybody had as part of their job description, right, having fun in their day at work.
Yeah, to laugh. We all need to laugh. I think that's what helps bond people is if you can find the humor in any situation, be grateful for that. There's some sort of connection that's created that when it does get tough, you can rely back on that story or that experience, but it propels you forward. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not afraid to laugh. I might laugh a lot, but yeah, I'm just put it out there. Just go for it. Well, what does it hurt, right? What does it hurt? Who does it hurt to laugh?
Well, I don't think it hurts anybody because even, as I often say to people, on the worst day of anybody's life, there was something good, if not extraordinary or not amazing, and even in the toughest places, right? And it might be called gallows humor, but it's still okay
Yeah,
because you can even laugh quietly on the inside and nobody needs to know you're laughing.
this is true. This is true. And I believe it. Laughter is an amazing thing. But even if to laugh internally, I don't think people give themselves that freedom.
Not at all. Yeah. Yeah, like I mean, when is the last time you met somebody and when they're writing on their to-do list for the day? Let me see. Where in my day can I spend some time laughing? Where in my day can I spend some time relaxing? And where in my day can I spend some time flirting?
I don't know. I think you're the only one that has that list.
I think that this is the most important things on my list.
Yes. Maybe I need to start doing that, putting that in my journal. Okay, task done today. Flirted, relaxed, laughed. Maybe this is something to create a new type of calendar or journal for people and put those boxes in there. Did you do that today?
I know, because I think life would be so much more fun if we were to all do that, regardless of what we're actually up to.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. I mean, I like that idea. We put down
Yeah,
meditation, gratitude, but let's laugh. Yeah, have fun.
yeah, laugh. What is it? The LOL.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we should put that on everything. Yep. He was in Speak to Inspire. He created the captain's log that I've been using, and it
Right.
has that. But I'm going to tell him he needs to put laughter and fun in his next version.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure. You know, because yeah, the more we're prepared to have fun and laughter, the more easily and effortlessly things just flow.
I think so too. I mean, yesterday I was at the football game and I got a sandwich and the kiosk computer didn't work. And so I came back and then I'm like, well, do you mind if I just start eating my hot sandwich now? She's like, well, no. And then I'm like, I need sauce. And we just started laughing back and forth because I could have gotten angry and she could have been frustrated, but we just sat there laughing. And then back and forth, I went to, I don't know, 3 or 4 different machines to pay for this sandwich
Hmm.
and just laughing the whole time. And everyone's like, it set the tone because you could have been angry and frustrated, but why? What was it going to get you? My sandwich was still going to get cold if I didn't eat it. So,
Well, exactly.
And so I said, I told the one woman, I hope you realize how honest I am because I could eat this and just leave. She's like, I know. So, but yeah, but laughing. She started laughing, the one that served me the sandwich, and it was good.
Yeah, it does make a difference, you know. I find that I do this in coffee shops all the time, and people are like looking at me, but then they end up laughing because I'm flirting with the barista. Like, well, why not?
Yeah.
Well, he might be married, or she might be married. Yes, and
Yeah, it's still a person and you're acknowledging them. So
well,
yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, no. It yeah, and that is I think those meeting people like that. I was thinking about that this morning. Anybody you meet, you should do that for everybody that you meet, just to laugh and flirt or whatever. Compliments is the other one. I used to give genuine compliments. I think the last one I gave that really, the man had a green striped socks. I loved his socks. I'm like, dude, I got to tell you about your socks. They're really cool. And it just breaks the ice.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. And I don't know why the compliment, but it made me, because the socks made me happy. Because they were
Right.
happy socks. I loved them. They were awesome.
Brilliant.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm a little cuckoo, but I don't care.
That's all right. I don't mind either, as long as we're having fun.
Yes, lots of fun, lots of fun.
Yeah, yeah. So we get to that point of the interview where I ask people about world peace, because you're
Ah,
still a young person, right? No matter what you say, you're still a young person, right? And I think the Queen of England would agree with me on that. But when you get to the end of your life and you're looking back, what is it that will have been your biggest contribution to world peace?
ooh. Um, that's a good question. That's a really
Mm,
good question. I think it's going to be how I raised my daughter and how she sees people as unique and they have differences. And that's to understand that we have different points of view,
mm,
and that's okay. But when you take action against someone that you don't agree with, then that's not okay. So as long as you can accept and tolerate differences and learn from them, because maybe their point of view is something you could learn from. So if I can teach that to her and she can teach that to her kids, then it perpetuates the idea that, again, we're all the same. We're just, we're
yeah.
all people.
Human beings on the journey of life.
Yes. We're learning, we make mistakes, we pick ourselves up, and we move forward.
Absolutely. And hopefully with lots of laughter.
Yeah. Yeah, I can get going. Poof, I can start laughing.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you, Teresa. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and for me too, you know, because I think you're sharing a lot of quality stuff on your journey of life. I think a lot of women will appreciate what you've shared today, you know,
Oh,
and
thank
it's
you.
just so brilliant, you know, to be on a life journey with you, and hopefully on Speak to Inspire, we'll be doing some lots of fun and laughter together.
I hope so. Yeah, we have to laugh. You have to laugh.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jen.